Namaste, and welcome to an introduction to Vinyasa Yoga. My name is Serena Stone, and I'm going to be your guide as we get to know more about this gentle, powerful yoga form. Vinyasa Yoga is a simple way to develop strength, balance, and flexibility in your body, mind, and spirit through focused movement and controlled breathing. It doesn't matter if you can touch your toes or balance on your head. What matters is that you use the practice to find and then move past your current limitations. It doesn't matter what they are or where you are in your practice. For example, some people are naturally flexible, some are naturally strong, and others have a great sense of balance. Also, a person's body characteristics can make some poses easier than others. Like the length ratio between your arms and legs could determine if a pose feels natural or seems nearly impossible. What's key in yoga is that everyone works at their own yoga practice at their own pace. Then each of you will experience the benefits in your own way. As we go through this video, we'll show you how some of the poses can look, but we'll also show you what they might look like when a beginner, like me, does them. Vinyasa is a form of yoga that links slow, gentle body movements to breath. But the term vinyasa can mean different things depending on the context. It also refers to a specific sequence of moves used to transition between yoga poses. The typical vinyasa begins with the plank pose. On a slow, smooth exhale, the body is shifted forward and the shoulders lowered into low plank. A slow inhale brings you to upward dog. And finally, another exhale takes you to downward facing dog or down dog, which is one of the key resting poses in Vinyasa Yoga. The high plank pose builds strength in the upper body and core. The low plank builds endurance. Upward dog opens the heart and stretches the spine. Depending on your strength level, you may opt to do these postures from your knees. You may skip any or all postures in any given set. You can, for example, hold high plank for a couple of breaths and then shift back to down dog on an exhale. Or you could just shift back to down dog and hold that for the vinyasa period. So as long as you're moving with your breath and you're breathing, you're all good. Because downward facing dog or down dog is a key posture used to help set up many of the other yoga poses, it's important to get the alignment for it just right. Starting with the feet, they should be hips width distance apart and the feet should be parallel. Weight should be on the ball mounds of the toes, but the toes should be relaxed. The heels are relaxing down toward the mat, but don't need to touch the mat. A gentle bend in the knee can be very helpful to protect against overextending the knees and also helps release tension in the low back. The hips are raised high and the abdominal muscles are pulling in and up to form an upside down V. The back and arms are straight. The hands are placed firmly on the mat with the fingers spread wide, with the middle finger pointing straight forward, with weight spread evenly across the palms of the hands. Ideally, the distance between your hands and the feet should be exactly the same as they are in high plank. You can check this simply by shifting your weight forward into high plank. When you do, your shoulders should come directly over your hands. If not, you can adjust your feet or hands until they do, and then lift your hips back up and back into down dog. Eventually, down dog will become a natural resting pose, or so I'm told. Because the first move in the vinyasa is from high plank into low plank, which in ancient Sanskrit is called Chaturanga Tadasana. Some vinyasa instructors will also call a vinyasa a chaturanga. Each vinyasa session should begin with a peaceful settling in process, where you filter out distractions, focus on slow, lengthy breaths, and pay attention to your body. The mental part of this process is just as important as the physical, and it should not be skipped over. After settling in, it's important to warm up before beginning some of the more challenging postures. This is typically done with a series of sun salutations, which go something like this. From downward dog, inhale, look up, and step or hop your feet to the front of the mat into a forward fold. Let your head hang heavy for a breath, and then inhale to Tadasana or mountain pose. Exhale, back to the forward fold. Inhale to a half lift, then exhale. Plant the hands and step or hop your feet back to high plank. Hold it for an inhale, and then the last part of the sun salutation is a vinyasa. So exhale to low plank, inhale to upward dog, and then exhale back to downward dog. There are many variations of the sun salutation, and it's not uncommon to do multiple variations during the same class as part of warming up. Once warmed up, a vinyasa class will then begin taking you through the various standing and seated yoga poses. Each pose, or series of poses, will be done on both the right and the left sides, with a vinyasa in between. Each of the poses is designed to strengthen or stretch different parts of the body or to challenge a person's balance. Many of them do all three at the same time. There is Warrior 1, Warrior 2, Warrior 3, Crescent Lunge, Chair Pose or Utkatasana, or Mountain, Pigeon, or any number of other poses that can be used in a vinyasa session in different patterns to work and challenge the body and mind. Toward the end of a vinyasa class, it is common to do one or more inversion poses. Inversions are where you lift your hips above your heart and take the weight off your feet. This calms the mind, helps with the blood circulation, and a lot more. It's a great way to slow the body down and prepare to let it rest in the final pose, Shavasana, which some people would call the hardest pose in yoga. Shavasana looks a bit like you're taking a nap. It's actually a fully conscious pose where the aim is to be awake, yet completely and totally relaxed. For those of us who lead busy lives, this is a rejuvenating state and easier to do following a good vinyasa workout. Putting all that together, a sequence in a typical vinyasa class could look something like this. So no matter what your current physical capabilities may be, Vinyasa yoga can improve your strength, stamina, posture, ease pain, and help clear the mind. And it's really fun too. So what are you waiting for? There's probably a small, friendly yoga studio near you right now. Vinyasa yoga is a surprisingly challenging way to honor your body and build energy. It'll help you see the light inside of yourself and help you see it in others as well. So we conclude each session with Namaste, a special gesture and saying to acknowledge the light in all of us. It's like saying, the light in my heart acknowledges the light in your heart. So from my heart to yours, peace and namaste.